We are recording this on the 3rd of July.
And it's still coming home.
Oh!
Currently.
It is still coming home.
Messi!
As it stands, we are playing Mexico this weekend at 1 a.m. on Monday morning. So some sore heads in the office, I'm sure. And the reason why we've got our shirts on and a nice few shirts gracefully brought in by Cormac today behind us is today's Good, the Bad, the Ugly is themed around the World Cup. We have a few examples outside the World Cup, but a lot of the honourable mentions, what we're going to discuss today, are World Cup-based advertising. So, let's begin with that. The good of today's episode.
What have you got first for us?
A few well-known brands by the name of Levi's and Heinz. So, Will, what have they been doing? This World Cup?
I think...
Wasn't Gillette one as well?
Yeah, but I don't know if Gillette's is real or if they've just jumped on the bandwagon.
Okay.
So
AI again.
Yeah. But basically what Leon is referring to is but in America, obviously a lot of the stadiums are branded and sponsored, like they are in the UK. But one thing that FIFA's rules are is that you're not allowed to have sponsorships outside of the agreed upon FIFA sponsors to be displayed during the game or talked about during the game. So, for example, there's like the Levi Stadium, which has been rebranded to the San Francisco stadium or something like that. And what they've done is on the outside of the building where they've got the big Levi's logo, they've just put a big white tarpaulin over it. Which is very funny, they're that kind of petty about it.
We've got some pictures on screen.
Yeah,
I'm sure most people have seen this, but for anyone who haven't seen this, pictures on screen.
But Levi's very, very cleverly jumped on the back of it and went we can make something funny out of this. So on all their social bios, they just changed social profiles. They just changed all of their icons and their favicons and their logos to just be the kind of white outlined version of their logo.
And I think it's crazy, right? Because I think I saw another example as well, which was different to those two, but it was Beats.
Beats with the tape.
The Beats headphones. And they made one of the footballers, I think it was Lamine Yamal for Barcelona, Spain, to tape his headphones when he was going on the pitch. And everyone knows.
Everyone knows
that's the Beats headphones, you know?
But it's funny because if you know about Beats and the way they market it to start with, they just started sending them out free to singers, to footballers, to American footballers, wherever it is, basketball players, for them to just wear because they knew that these people would wear them because it's Dr. Dre. You're like, oh yeah, of course I'm going to wear them. I've been given something by Dr. Dre. That's cool. And then it's they're then wearing it and it's eyes on them, just free. It's just free views other than obviously the cost of making the product.
Yeah.
So I understand why FIFA have done it, but by them addressing it and getting them to put the tape over it allows for Beats and other brands like Levi's and Heinz.
Yep. So Heinz have done the same thing.
To run with it.
In a lot of their adverts, their logo.
Well, it's not the adverts. That's in the players' lounge. So in the players' lounge, where they've got they're having the food before a game, if they've got a bottle of Heinz, they've put black sticky tape over the top of it. And
they physically put black sticky tape?
They physically put black.
I thought it was just an advert.
No, so that's in the players' lounge. Before so where they eat before the games.
They've done a few adverts though because it comes up saying it still has to be and then it's blocked out.
Because of it, someone's taken a picture and gone, oh look at this, stupid, it taped over the Heinz logo. Heinz have seen it and gone, it has to be Heinz, which is the classic Heinz kind of strapline.
Yeah. Okay, so what is it then? Because this is ultimately, we want to break down the philosophy and the theory behind what these guys are doing, and this is very much reactive marketing. And what I find interesting about this is, I think when a lot of people are thinking about the kind of adverts that they have to create or marketing campaigns in any kind of way, it's easy to get caught up these days in trying to be, one, entertaining, two, possibly controversial in order to capture attention, and then three, adding value. And we know this, that's incredibly hard to do all in the same video. You don't have to provide value, you don't have to entertain, you don't have to be provocative all in the same time. And what these guys are doing here, and it is easier for these guys because people already know who they are, what they are. They're very recognizable. But I think it just goes to show that an ad campaign doesn't have to be all those three things. It can just be fun, or it can just be driving value. And then that possibly makes it a lot easier for people who are, for the marketers who are trying to come up with campaigns these days, rather than trying to do all in one video. Like, okay, we're going to do 10 campaigns that are entertaining, just entertaining. We're going to do 10 campaigns that are driving value, and we're going to do 10 campaigns that are just provocative.
But the thing, just going back to, obviously, like say, it's jumping on the back of something and turn it for your advantage. Like they basically the FIFA have turned around and gone, oh no, you're not having sponsorship on this because you're not paid for it. And they've gone, no worries, we'll figure something out. And they figured it out, and they've been reactive with it, and they've done it on a bit of a whim. Like it's just like probably, well, I say that they've probably known that the Levi's logo is going to get covered up for a long time. Like realistically, they know that the stadium's getting used. They know that FIFA have got these rules in place, so they've had time to plan this. So it's not that reactive, but they have reacted to something that's happened to them. The one thing I do think is really funny is the fact that beforehand, I reckon if you put that white Levi's outline logo and didn't tell people what it was, they wouldn't be able to tell you what brand that was. Whereas now, I bet you a lot of people would.
Because they can.
And that's them. They've made that outline more iconic than it was before. Yeah, which is very, very good.
I agree. It's very good. And I guess if you think about the spectrum of brands that can do this, it's everyone, right? I mean, there's an example, Ryanair. The reason why Ryanair was so popular in their recent years of marketing is the guy who came in. I remember he was on a podcast. Do you remember
Michael,
his name?
Michael.
It's not Michael O'Leary. If you look at Michael, and I'm going to mess up his name, but Michael Corcoran. In the accent, it sounds so much worse as well. But the guy who was the former head of social media at Ryanair, he was massive on this. And I remember him on a podcast, and he was basically like, when he structured his entire marketing team, he had an entire department just jumping on trends. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important because some of the smaller brands may look at this and go, oh, well, these guys can do this because they've got massive brand awareness, and all they need to do is just do something funny and everyone will see and recognize their brand name. But I actually think we see this across the spectrum. If you think about smaller brands on TikTok or on Instagram or any kind of Reels platform, LinkedIn, how many people are trying to jump on trends, and we see posts perform well when they're jumping on trends. But there is a caveat, which is you can't take too long.
Well, that's one of the things that Michael talks about with Ryanair. He got it approved that he could sign off like kind of risky LinkedIn, the social replies. Yeah. So they were able to reply to people, and I don't know, we've talked about it a lot. But it basically became this trend online of like get roasted by Ryanair. Yeah. So you catch a Ryanair flight and you'd complain about it like,
and then they'd get,
as if I've not even got a window seat, or I'm sat by the window and I've got no window. And they go, the reply would be, oh yeah, better luck next time, or something like that. It's just like they're just like roasting for it. And his theory behind it was like, realistically, Ryanair is not an airline that you're paying mega money to fly with. It is the cheapest way to get to a different country, like them and EasyJet. And they've really lent into this thing of, we're not here for luxury, we're not here for the experience, we're here to get you from the UK or from Ireland or somewhere miserable to somewhere much more nicer where you can enjoy your holiday. Yeah. And stop complaining about your leg room, stop complaining about not having a window because you've paid 50 quid to fly to Barcelona or whatever it is.
Exactly. People don't pay for the customer experience on a Ryanair flight, right? They just go there because it's the cheapest option and it gets them from A to B. So they're living by their means.
Yeah. And so this is it. And so any brand can do this at any level. But the most important thing is speed. Yeah. Because it's so annoying when you see people on LinkedIn who are, and a lot of like companies do this, who are like weeks behind the trend and then upload LinkedIn posts of a trend. And it's like, oh, just give it a rest.
I've seen it literally like maybe a couple of minutes ago. There's the people that climbed up to the top of the tower in New York.
Empire State
Building. And everyone's now just jumping on that and just like posting it about, I've seen like recruiters doing it. I've seen like loads of different people just posting, like changing the thing to like, for example, it's coming home for England. And all these different things, and it's like it's too common now.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. The funny thing with it is like you have to be so quick nowadays because you have to be almost one of the first brands to jump on the bandwagon kind of thing, and you'll ride the coattails a little bit. But as soon as multiple brands have started to do it, it's too late.
Yeah.
Like, because people turn off to sales, and as soon as they see that a brand is doing it, they're like, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's no longer fun.
Yeah. It's fun because
the novelty wears off.
Yeah, the novelty wears off, and it becomes about selling rather than enjoyment.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good theory behind marketing. I know in the first episode with Dax, we spoke about founder-led content, and the kind of theme here is reactive marketing. Both very, very important in today's landscape. Okay, recent heatwave trend. You guys may or may not have seen that Greenpeace was targeting a campaign against Shell by walking around the London tube stations and rebranding the names of the stops. So we'll put it over on screen as well. So effectively, so we've got Baking Street, and they're putting a little sticker on everything saying like Heatwave brought to you by Shell. So yeah, they're going around, and again, it's just another very strong reactive marketing example.
I'd love to know if they left those signs up or took them down afterwards.
I was going to say, because a lot of those, I actually saw one recently when I was on the tube. It was I can't remember which brand it was now, but I saw it. I was like, that's quite a controversial topic. And then obviously people just pick them up because they can.
Yeah.
Until they get taken down, they'll probably stay up there.
Yeah, that's it. What's it going to cost to do that? And it's cool. We had a guy on the podcast, James Sutcliffe, last week. I don't know if this will have gone out before or after his episode, but he was talking about when he first started his company. So he runs a founding network, which is a kind of group of founders who all help each other to achieve different things. And the way he kind of became big in the first place is he found founders, like big name founders that he wanted to target. He found a billboard near where they physically are in the US, I think it was, and he put a billboard with their name on it where they'd see it. And he got a lot of backlash off it.
Seems like stalking.
Yeah, but it worked. They got in touch with him. He said that I can't remember what it was. They got taken down very quick, but 90% of them got in touch with him. And again, it's coming back to that three elements that we spoke about before, where it's like entertaining, value driving, or provocative. And this is very much that provocative kind of / entertainment that gets the attention.
It's clever. The guy I spoke to, he does high-end creative work, and he got a load of business cards printed out, and his company name is If So Because Why, and it literally means basically kind of nothing, but there's a few clever reasons behind it. It's if you search his name on literally on the web, he doesn't pay for any SEO, but he'll always be top search. But what he did is he took these business cards. They were really nice, high end, fully black, and all it said is "If so, because why" on the card. So people are just like, "Oh, what the hell? That's a bit weird. This is." And he took these business cards and he went into a lot of expensive stores, and he dropped the kind of the business cards in the top pocket or inside the inside pocket, and then he went down first class and started just putting them on the tables in the trains and all this sort of stuff. And he said he got more people contacting him because of that, just wanting to know what it was that he did, because it was intriguing.
Curiosity.
And curiosity had drawn people to him.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really clever.
Well, that is a good example. And you think sometimes people, I think, overthink, and they think to put too much information on those sort of cards or other leaflets. I think sometimes, like you say, less information can actually be better and more beneficial. Yeah. Because actually, a funny one I actually have recently was there was someone who was promoting their business. I think it was a carpentry business or something similar to that, and they just had the social media logos rather than the actual links to what they are, and it makes them then search to find out what it is, and then again instantly you're then searching for this brand because they haven't actually put down their actual tagline.
But following on the back of that Greenpeace one, do you remember when we came down and it was the tube strikes? And everyone was on Line Bikes.
Yeah,
everyone was on Line Bikes, and there was so much going on social media about it. But Lime, being very reactive and very clever, jumped on the back of it, stuck up a load of billboards around London, and it was you'll have to pull it up, but it was it said all the different streets and then all the different tube stops basically, and they're out of order, and then Line Bike always in order. So it was basically taking the mick out of the fact that the tubes were stopped. and limes were still going.
And you got to think, for them to be able to not only like come up with that idea, but then push that through to the fact where it's on physical billboards. Yeah, you've got to be so fast.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess if anyone is thinking about setting up a marketing team, they should definitely put someone or a team of people specifically on reacting to trends.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to the bad. This week's bad is we've got a few World Cup honourable mentions running along with the theme of today's episode. And Cormac, you're going to run us through a few of them.
I think for me, I actually read up on it, and it was, I remember during the 2010 World Cup when Gerrard scored for England and it cut out, and it was the Hyundai advert, and then everyone, all the England fans were angry at home in front of ITV, like, oh, ITV's cut out. And obviously it was actually, I read up on it, it actually wasn't Hyundai who actually meant to put the marketing on. They just got a bit of a win really from having that game and having that issue. It's actually the telecoms who accidentally clicked the button and then it cut out mid-game and everyone missed the Gerrard's goal. But obviously everyone's happy with that experience because Hyundai, England have scored Gerrard, so they probably got a bit more sales behind that advert. But it wasn't Hyundai's fault for that happening.
Yeah, how crazy is that as well? Because we were talking about this the other day and I don't remember this because I'm surprised you remember it, to be honest, because Will had been like 9 at the time. But the
big football fan.
Yeah. The fact that, just mid first half.
3 minutes in, I think it was.
3 minutes in, just a random advert is coming up. And the chances that England score as well during that time.
I just think about that bloke or the person that's accidentally pressed the button that's put the ad on, and how much they must have got in trouble for it afterwards. But all the processes as well that are put in place after that because of one person that's accidentally pressed the button.
I looked into it, and apparently it literally was like a moment of literally pressing a button, and they had to put like a whole security around this whole like button pressing. So they put in a whole security like.
It's like launching a nuke. You have to have 2 keys and turn them at the same time.
Exactly.
And then press the button.
The funny thing on this is that I actually was in a pub watching the England game this week.
And they cut out, didn't it?
It cut out.
And it cut out.
Did
you have you all as well?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. The whole thing
the
cut out.
reaction in the bar, because I was in a bar in Leeds called Box, and it was packed. A split second after that went off, everyone was like kicking off. I was like, wow, I'm shocked at the impact of this. So yeah, imagine if it had come on, would have missed Harry Kane's screamer. Okay, so that's honourable mention number 1. Honourable mention number 2 is Budweiser. So this is, funnily a bad one. So this goes back to the Qatar World Cup in 2022. Now, Budweiser paid $112 million to be the official beer sponsor of the Qatar World Cup, only for the Qatari hosts to ban all alcohol sales in stadium 2 days before.
That's really bad. But what I will do on that one, I'll throw in a good one, because I think I do remember, I think it was a Euros or a World Cup, where Budweiser did something like, if you sign up and football comes home, then we'll give you like a box of Budweiser to kind of celebrate with you and your family. So I think obviously that was a really bad example of their advertising, and obviously they took a risk and it didn't pay off. But in terms of whether England would win the World Cup one day and having a sign up and people getting a free Budweiser, they'd probably be quite happy with that.
Yeah, they've done quite well at
I
times.
just wonder how many like emails they've collected or whatever details, data that they've got off the back of that, because people wanted a free crate of Budweiser.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Smart. But yeah, this is crazy, because I don't know if they got that 112 million back.
Well,
probably not.
Probably. Wow, it'd be interesting. But the thing I think is like, it makes you wonder like how many other beer companies either thought about, Qatar's a dry country, so they're probably going to ban it.
Yeah.
And obviously didn't go for it, didn't bid for it. Because Budweiser's not a good beer.
That's why it's in the bad.
Yeah.
So the next bad example we've got for this week is not actually World Cup related. It is from quite a while ago now, but it sparked a massive debate online, and it'd be interesting for us to talk about it. So Nike had a campaign on the Boston Marathon. So they had all these different billboards with all these different messages on them, but there's one that got particular backlash, which read, "Runners welcome, walkers tolerated." And it created a whole thing of online criticism that the brand was excluding people, and eventually they took it down. So first of all, what are your thoughts on that campaign?
I mean, we talked about it at the time a lot and went back and forth. And one of the things that we talked about is like, obviously, it's a marathon. Like, oh yeah, of course, like marathon. The point of marathon is running. But then also you think there's a lot of people that do marathons and these sorts of endurance events for charity, and it's like, why should we exclude, or why should a brand say you can't, because you're going to walk one portion of a marathon, you're like not wanted. Like, that's not how it should be. It should just be everyone's welcome. It should be an inclusive event. I get the thought process, but I don't know. Like, to me, you've got to think devil's advocate sometimes.
No, I definitely agree, but also not going too much into detail for it. But I think if you are a runner and you do think, I'm going to walk at some point, maybe that advert will also give you kind of momentum to not walk as much. Mm-hmm. Maybe that was their thinking behind it, to kind of encourage people that do walk to kind of like not give up on their marathon run.
Well, this is why it's a debate, because within about a day, it had removed. Nike had taken it down and they'd said they'd missed the mark. And it sparked a lot of debate within the marketing industry, because you've got some people saying how, again, they made a mistake and the fact they weren't very inclusive at what is ultimately a very inclusive event. But you've got other marketers who have been like, Nike taking it down almost deducts from the entire point of marketing, which is you're addressing your audience. Mm-hmm. And we know that in any kind of marketing, you have to sift through the 80% to get to your 20%, and you've got to build out a niche, and ultimately those are the people who resonate with you. You cannot capture the whole market.
Over the last few years, and Nike has diversified, I say last few years, probably last 20 years, diversified in so many different markets in terms of, it's not just a run. Like when it started, it was a running shoe. It was a running shoe and that was it. And then it's a basketball shoe, and now it's a skateboarding shoe, and now it's a whatever else there is, a lifestyle shoe. And they've diversified so much that they've kind of lost that core audience that was that hardcore runners. Mm-hmm. To me, anyway, like I said this, and when we talked about it at the time, like Leon mentioned, oh no, it's still massive amongst runners. But from an outside perspective, I don't run. I always thought like the hardcore runners are buying Asics, they're buying Saucony and any others. Oka. So that's how I always thought about it. It's like, okay, so are they trying to push themselves back to that kind of 20% of their market, which is hardcore runners?
Yeah. I'm not a runner either. I'm probably more of a walker, so I'm absolutely fine with it. So I was going to say.
Solid.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. And this, I do take the side of, again, the split is between whether this is brand strategy or brand safety. And again, Nike, I don't know. I think they should have left it. I think, to be honest, again, like for a brand like Nike, is any publicity bad publicity? I think not. Maybe they removed it to increase their publicity, because you're not only going to get an article from the backlash, but you get an article from them removing it. But yeah, I think, again, you're going to have 80% of people hating you to get to the 20% who are going to buy your product. So I think they should have left
part
it.
Of the issue is talking about like they're like flip-flopping. So it's like brand strategy, target those hardcore runners. So yeah, you're going for the 20% of people that are hardcore runners, and you may have resonated with them. But then as soon as you admit, oh no, we shouldn't have done that, you lose that 20% that have got your back, and you've already lost the 80% potentially because they're already annoyed at you. So you've lost everyone. Yeah. It's like you've come out of this as a lose-lose, other than you've got two sets of PR.
Yeah.
That are PR headaches, by the way, as well.
And we're talking about it now, so
yeah,
they must have done something.
I do like just talking about PR in general. Did you see the McDonald's thing, where the CEO of McDonald's was eating one of their new burgers on a TikTok video or TikTok live stream, and he looked like he was trying not to throw up while eating this burger.
Really?
It was like the most awkward looking video ever. And like a few brands have like played off the back of it, talk about like reactive marketing, but it generally was just like it just makes you think like. He's even said, like, I would never feed my kids McDonald's. It's like, you're the CEO of McDonald's and you're saying that. Like,
oh, it's crazy.
Like, it just makes... I'm just like, why would anyone eat McDonald's if he's saying that?
That happens in so many industries, though, especially in the AI space and the social media space. There's a really famous book by Jonan Hari called Stolen Focus, and it's a really good book. He actually got done a lot for plagiarism in that book. But he speaks about... He speaks to a lot of the top-end executives in these companies, your Metas, especially people in Meta, and the fact that what social media is trying to achieve, which is grabbing attention at all costs. A lot of those executives, when they asked if they would let their kids on the platforms that they're building, they say no. What a crazy world we're living in.
But I think it's coming back to football. I remember when Chelsea released their kit this year, they had a lot of influencers. Like, for example, Madonna went live on TikTok wearing the new Chelsea shirt and hadn't even been released yet. And a lot of our fan base are getting kind of like controversial with it because they're thinking like, are they just trying to like market us now as like kind of like a, because obviously we have US owners. Is it now a franchise kind of like lifestyle T-shirt rather than a club shirt?
Yeah,
and you see that more and more on the influencer market and in clothing and different brands now doing those sort of like short wins by having like, oh, Madonna's worn the Chelsea shirt, or this golfer's wearing the Chelsea shirt. It's now like, oh, this is a big moment. Everyone's now looking at it online.
But there's no link between, well, as far as I know, between Madonna and Chelsea.
I think she's a Chelsea fan, actually.
Oh, okay, maybe there is a link.
There is a link.
Maybe that's a link. Then that's not too bad then. But I know there's been a lot of backlash with the Chelsea thing in general because obviously they've changed obviously a lot of it, and then a lot of the new branding says CFC London, and it's like that is so American franchise, like and it's like, is that really what the English football game is going to become? Like,
yeah, that's it. When you try to hit a wider market, and this is again especially a problem for a lot of these bigger companies, are you diluting your customer base? And are you diluting your brand in what it means to the people who have been with it from the start? Yeah. So the ugly, funnily enough, gents, is the hydration break in the games. That is what we've picked for this week's ugly. Now, why is this part of the ugly this week?
I just think it slows the game down. And I think it does favour the teams, you know. In terms of not the marketing side of it, we're talking about the actual game itself, football. I think, like, for example, if your team's 1-0 up within 20 minutes and then the other team's coming on top and they have a hydration break, it's almost like they lose momentum, and it kind of gives they're saying now it brings in the managers, and they're allowed to change tactics and bring in maybe in substitutions and adjust to the current situation. So I think in terms of football, it's really kind of, obviously people say, oh, it's fair for both teams, they both get a drink, but in some of those cities and some of the places, they weren't even that hot. I think they were quite like general temperatures.
Well, the aircon conditioned stadiums.
Air conditioned, aircon.
It's crazy, and I think my thoughts on this is, and it's more of a question, is any advertising good advertising? I know a lot of brands will look at the audience of people who are watching the World Cup, which is huge, right? So you're going to get in front of a massive amount of audience. But how much are they considering timing when they're choosing to promote during these periods? Because we know, and I know Will's got a point in a second about why they're not shown in the UK, but if fans are so outraged at these hydration breaks and they're just annoyed when these are happening, suddenly if they get flashed an advert of a brand, are they going to then associate that annoyance with the brand that is showing it? So is there an element of timing here?
But I think it's also down to the fact that these fans have paid thousands and thousands of pounds to watch these footballers and watch these teams play, right? And they're outraged by the fact that they have to watch these guys have a drink of water for 3 minutes. Can you imagine if someone paid thousands of pounds to watch you at work having a coffee? They'd be like, what are you guys doing?
That's what Leon does all the time.
And that is the same thing. They'd probably see about 10 minutes for me having a coffee during the day.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously the juxtaposition of it. It's like they've brought these hydration breaks in for the goodness of the players. Like, they're playing in these horrible conditions. It's too hot. It's all the like high altitude, whatever. So yeah, okay, understand the hydration breaks, but why in like aircon stadiums are we having them? You saw very well, like, we're not getting too heavily into like the football side of things, like you mentioned before, when England played DR Congo, after that first hydration break, it turned. They were on top. We then switched momentum, came back our way, and then it stayed our way the rest of the game. We then went on to win, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be. The game of football has always been 2 minutes of 45 minutes. And when we start to mess with the game to just show adverts, it's wrong for me, because you're changing that consumer's experience.
But I do think, so I'll cut you in there, but I do think it is also part of the fact that it's in the US, right, as well. Is that they're bringing it back to similar to be like NFL and baseball, where they have those
cute quarters rather than halves.
But they're doing it. It's not just the World Cup. You look at Amazon Prime Video. You were saying earlier that in the middle of films, they're throwing in adverts, and I don't know if, again, this is obviously Amazon Prime who are doing that rather than the actual advertisers themselves. Amazon Prime are ultimately choosing where those ads are placed. So I'm not sure how much control those advertisers have got. But again, if you're interrupting somebody's film, do you want to be that company that's interrupting them with an advert? Are you going to, again, with the timing, are you going to get the reaction you want by interrupting? At least if it's at half-time and the half-time adverts, people know it's coming and they accept that they're going to be shown ads and they might be more open to it. But yeah, I don't know. This timing thing I found interesting.
The flip side of things for Prime, I don't mind adverts on Prime. It's the
even in the middle of a film?
The only platform I don't mind adverts on, because...
They're controversial.
Right, how much do you pay for Amazon Prime?
Too much.
I don't actually know.
$8.99 a month.
$8.99 a month, and you can watch a load of films on there. Yes,
and adverts.
And adverts, yeah, you get the advert.
Yeah, but the adverts, the films...
How much do you order on Amazon?
Not enough to...
Okay.
I need to get rid of it.
Do you order enough on Amazon? Because for me,
yeah, to be fair,
I would pay for Amazon Prime just for the delivery. Don't start charging me just for the delivery and separating your bloody platform.
Because Amazon will definitely watch this.
Yeah, they definitely will. But for me, just the delivery element is worth paying for Amazon Prime. The film side of things is just a bonus.
Yeah,
but
the film and TV side of things is just a bonus to me.
Do you think that though when you go on Amazon Prime and you try to click on a film and it's always buy or rent? It's like, well, actually,
what I will say is, if they start doing it during the football games that they show on Amazon, then we'll have a problem. I don't mind it during films, but if they start doing it on football, then I will have a problem.
They were talking about bringing the hydration breaks into just regular games.
No. But I don't think this will leave after this World Cup. I think this will be something that stays. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be something that carries on.
Money talk.
Yeah, but it really does. It's funny because obviously in the UK we don't get them. So like I say, we just watch a bit of analysis and them talk about the players having a drink.
Why don't we? You know why we don't get them?
Yeah, so we don't get them because Ofcom, back to them fellas, they have like strict rules of like the amount of minutes that you can show of advertising per hour. So it's like for the football, they're like obviously limited by the fact that they can either show a load at half time, or they can spread out those halftime ads over first hydration break, halftime, second hydration break. So they just choose to keep all their adverts at halftime, as well as obviously the BBC is the BBC. They don't show adverts other than stuff for themselves.
And we said something about being reactive earlier as well, and obviously the good examples. I think I will touch on it just slightly, but obviously the longer breaks now, we have seen some really great adverts, haven't we, from big companies that are taking advantage in their favour.
So we had Nike's 6-minute advert. So I guess, this is flipping it back into a good...
Do you want to play it?
We can play it on screen.
Yeah, but do we want to watch it?
For 6 minutes. Have you got 6 minutes?
Another hydration break.
Let's just add another hydration break.
You sure you don't like them? I think you are loving them at the moment.
We'll overlay it on screen. Yeah, definitely go and check it out if you haven't. It's funny because when we recorded the first episode of Good, Bad, the Ugly back in Christmas, I actually mentioned the Nike advert from 2010, I think it was.
Incredible.
Which I was like, that's one of the most iconic adverts of all time, when the players, all the guys at the five-a-side court turned into the players. And they've done it again, haven't they? Nike have done it again with a pretty incredible 6-minute advert.
I love how they've brought in like other Nike people though. So like going back to obviously how broad Nike is, so like you've just got like Kim Kardashian.
Kim Kardashian pops up. I was like,
you got
wow.
Kim Kardashian because of Skims. You got Travis Scott because of his collaboration with Nike. You got LeBron James, who's a Nike athlete. And I think that's really clever. Like that they're not just thinking about that. And they're obviously quite big American like figures.
Yeah, and you mentioned Travis Scott, and I kept seeing him during the game because they're showing him. And what I do find funny about the UK coverage is that they show these American stars, and they have no idea who these guys are.
I don't know who this guy is.
And it's so funny, and they don't comment on it. And there's no like name tags. The people on the cameras know who they are, and the guys are completely clueless.
It's like, have you ever seen that boxing match where it shows Terence Crawford in the crowd, and they put the tag up saying Kendrick Lamar? It's like they just don't look alike.
Yeah. No, but what I was going to say is that obviously his collaboration, why he's at those games, obviously because of the Michael Jordan. He's obviously mates with Michael Jordan and big basketball fan. So is that collaboration between the kits? I think Brazil will have a Jordan kit, and more other teams have the Jordan kit. So
that's really interesting, though, the fact that you've got Nike kits and then
Michael Jordan
kits, which are both basically Nike kits.
Yeah,
it's just they put a different brand on them. It's really interesting.
What a great brand, though, Michael Jordan.
Do you like Jordans?
I think it comes down to, I think with Nike it's Cristiano Ronaldo, and with Jordan,
Adidas.
it is actually Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, obviously there's two really strong people that you look up to. Well, look up to if you're in the basketball scene. But for me, I just like the fact that he has quite a strong brand around it. I'm not even a big basketball fan, but just the way that he has his brand so kind of nailed on. I think it's always going to be a good pair of shoes or kit.
I find it even surreal watching the Nike advert, just how many big names they managed to get into a one advert. I was at first thinking, surely that's AI generated. Like, you've got all the top players, Mbappe, Vinny Jr., some of the England players as well. I can't remember which one.
Cole Palmer's the only
Cole
one.
Palmer was in it.
Because I was
That
like,
was hilarious
no,
as well.
but I was sat there thinking, surely there's going to be an England player coming into this at some point. And then, so I think, obviously, that advert would have been filmed way before the team was announced.
Yeah.
They've hedged the bets on Cole Palmer
going.
But
Yeah.
I think they'll have re-edited it to take him out as much as possible because he's then obviously not in the squad.
Yeah, so that's another example that we could bring in. I'm not sure exactly what brand it was. I think it might have been Coca-Cola, but I think they kind of had their whole World Cup marketing around Cole Palmer before before the club got like obviously released the teams, and then now he's not in the World Cup. It's like they must have lost a lot of money from those like marketing campaigns.
Because you do, like, especially these big companies who
right?
do such a big production, they have to plan this stuff so far in
That
advance.
was filmed ages ago.
Yeah.
And again, it's probably the same with the Budweiser example we used earlier. They were planning that so far in advance and budgeting for that investment. Yeah, imagine it all just comes crumbling down, and that is, I guess, the harsh reality of
We got to take the
of
risk.
the
then.
beautiful game.
I think it was Coca-Cola. I'm not sure. You might want to search that up. Maybe we can touch on that again.
It was Nike.
Was it?
Well, these guys just saying it was Nike. They were a big World Cup campaign around Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
Like I say, he wasn't
Imagine
in that.
that.
But he wasn't in the trailer much.
And he's but he probably would have been. He
That's
probably
what I
would
mean.
have,
I reckon they've pulled it back. How much
because
isn't it?
even like, all of the billboards and everything have been changed now because of it.
Yeah.
It's actually insane when you think about it.
Embarrassing when the real world sport outcome changes underneath the campaign.
I do find the thing I found funny about just obviously that Nike advert, on the juxtaposition on the other side, you got the Adidas advert, and it's like you've got all these big stars in one, and then it's like, surely Mbappe is going to be coming up against Bellingham, like.
Yeah.
But it's like, obviously Bellingham's an Adidas advert, so it's like they can't like cross these two together. So I just find it like funny.
Yeah.
But I think one of the really good things that both Nike and Adidas have done is they've really lent into the fact that obviously it's in America. So obviously the Nike one, it's in like America, like North America. So it's the three nations: Mexico, America, and Canada. And the Nike one's obviously gone very Hollywood with it. It's on a studio. It's all in like studio warehouses. They're kind of going through all these different sets, these film sets. They go through like a kind of ninja fight scene at one point. But then the Adidas one has played it like kind of like that street soccer. Like FIFA, almost like FIFA Street back in the day.
Yeah.
What game?
And it's like that kind of like 3v3 mentality, and it's like they've made it basically like a movie, where it's like Timothée Chalamet, who's a massive name in America. He's talking about these legends that have been playing in this like area and it looks like somewhere from like South America, kind of like Mexico or maybe Brazil, Argentina, somewhere like that. And he's talking about these three great legends, and then eventually he talks about how like Beckham and Zidane and someone else had like challenged them back in the day, and they lost to him. And then it's like he's now finally put another team together, and then he brings Bellingham. And I can't remember the other two. One was a female soccer player, or football player, and
Soccer.
I know, I can't believe it's soccer. I've been watching too much American.
Keep that in.
No, please cut that. I think it's because she is an American female
We'll let you off.
football player. And then literally like it's there, and you're like, well, where's Messi? Because Messi's like the kind of he's the guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Especially for Adidas. And then literally right at the end, Timothée Chalamet sits down, and he says something. And it pans to Messi like sat in the car. It's like that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's very cool.
He's the main guy, isn't he? Messi.
Yeah. The GOAT.
Okay, so to round up, because we've been going through a lot here.
Tangent.
I think we've covered quite a lot there, and to kind of put each of these three examples into a takeaway, it would be the good is reactive marketing is definitely the standout. The bad is not leaning into the brand that you're trying to build and possibly brand safety, and trying to target too wide of a market actually dilutes what your brand means. And the ugly is too much advertising and advertising being timed when people really don't want to see it and ruining people's experiences. Well, thank you, gents.
Thank you.
Final question for you both. Is football coming home?
Absolutely.
God.
It's not.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of candidates in the World Cup which I'm
You know
thinking they're a
what
bit
was
strong.
funny?
But I reckon it is. Let's just say be positive.
It is, yeah, it is. On when do we play? Tuesday? For Tuesday night?
Monday? Oh,
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, Wednesday night this week. We were obviously texting our group chat, and we were 1-0 down, and it got to like half time. And so on, and I texted these two. And I was like, I've got zero faith, right? And then after they scored the first one, I went and edited the message. So it says, "I still have faith."
I think Harry Kane completely saved this podcast, didn't he? Otherwise, we'd be talking about the Olympics or something
I don't
different.
think we'd have our England shirts on. Yeah.
No, we wouldn't.
I think it is coming home as well. I think against Mexico, we are going to turn it around and just suddenly play like England should be playing. So there you go. Thank you, guys. We'll be back sometime soon for the next episode of The Good, Bad, the Ugly.
Thank you very much.
Who knows when?
Peace out.
Peace out. One love.